Good morning, councillors, and welcome to our special meeting of council to adopt Budget Review 2, which is standard practice for councils when you work through the time of year and at a point of time just to see what that operational situation looks like, and of course with capital as well. And we'll see through the course of BR2, which you have seen, that there's a significant reduction in the capital due to one project particularly, the Crestbrook Dam Safety Improvement Project. Can I acknowledge the traditional custodians who's traversed these lands we meet on today, the Western Waka Waka, the Guyabal, the Jarrawa and the Bigawal peoples, and pay respects to elders past, present and emerging, for they hold the knowledge, rich traditions and bold ambitions of Australia's first people. Welcome to everyone in the room. Councillors, thank you very much for your attendance. Councillor Bill is not too far away, and we'll work through the apologies when we get to that point. Acknowledging GM Anne-Marie, thank you very much for corporate services. General Manager Mike Brady, General Manager Nick Hauser in the room as well, and Acting GM Water and Waste, Natalie, thank you very much. And a special welcome today to our finance leadership team, Andrew, Emily and Mary Lou. Thank you very much for what you're doing and to getting us to this point in time. We have a lot of confidence in our finance team, so thank you very much. And Jason, for your involvement from a media perspective, thank you. And to everyone else in the gallery, thank you for joining us today. And those watching online, do appreciate it very much indeed. Before we move to the apologies, I just wanted to make two opening remarks, if I could. And the first of which, of course, is that yesterday's announcement is significant for us in regard to being a host at the Toowoomba Showgrounds for the Equestrian Olympics Paralympics 2032. And the enormity of that will unfold over the next 12 to 24 months to see what that is as far as the social and economic positive outlook is for our region. So I say that from a budget review perspective because I do feel that we need to also be mindful that there may be opportunities for us to benefit from that, more broadly from a social impact for our community. So that's an important win for our region. Last night, of course, we saw the federal budget handed down, and there are a couple of key takeaways. For us locally, fantastic to see the continuation of the spend at Oakey Army Aviation Base. That will continue on with two projects, the Black Hawk utility helicopter and the Black Hawk weapons system, for next financial year, close to $35 million, which is fantastic news. And an announcement or a confirmation that Inland Rail design and approval works are underway between Parkes and Ebenezer, which obviously flows through this area. Two pretty good announcements. There was, however, a stagnation, if you like, of funding going to local governments, which is something that we've spoken about for many years. Australian Local Government Association have done that, and now obviously Local Government Association of Queensland, which is Get Us Out of the 70s towards that effect campaign, which means effectively that untied funding coming to local government isn't keeping pace with growth and responsibilities that we have. And Councillor Carroll knows this all too well, as we all do, that local roads, for instance, or our road network, on average, according to the Australian Local Government Association, local governments manage and maintain some 75% of the roads. Yet yesterday, last night, 0.51% of the federal tax take is coming to local government. So that's significant, and it just does not make any sense whichever way you look at it. So there'll be continued push from the Australian Local Government Association and obviously LGAQ, which we're fully support of as a council, to relook at how that tax take is split up and what that means for local governments. So just to put that in the picture, there's 537 local councils across Australia, 537. The financial assistance grants have stagnated at 0.51%. For us, locally, it's worse than that. We've gone from $19 million 3 years ago to an expected $5.5 million this current financial year. That's $13.5 million that we have had to find as an organisation, $13.5 million that we've had to find as an organisation for the last 3 years. So it's an issue, and it's reflected in our operating reports that are here today. So that's a point that I wanted to make from the outset as we frame up our budget review 2 and what that looks like. So there's some opening remarks. Welcome, Councillor Bill. Very good. So, councillors, we then move to the apologies, attendance and leaves of absence. We do have an apology from Councillor Gary Gardner, and there is a resolution that is required that an apology for non-attendance from Councillor Gary Gardner be accepted. Can I have someone move by Councillor Carroll, second by Councillor Trevor? Those in favour? That motion is carried. We also have an apology from the Deputy Mayor, Councillor Rebecca Von Hoff. Same story. We do need a motion that an apology for non-attendance from Councillor Rebecca Von Hoff be accepted. Moved by Councillor Bill, seconded by Councillor Tim. Those in favour? Motion's carried unanimously. Any other leaves of absence anyone wanted to raise at this point? If not, declaration of prescribed conflicts of interest or declaration of declarable conflicts of interest. This is an ordinary business of council, a budget review or budget process, so I wouldn't imagine there would be. We then move, councillors, to item number 3, which is the 2024-25 February budget review. The author is Emily, pardon me, Emily Kimmins. Thank you, Emily. And the motion is that council adopt the amended 24-25 annual budget, attachments 1 to 6. Emily, would you like to make any opening remarks or comments, and then we'll go to questions? Thank you.
No worries. Good morning, councillors. So the purpose of this report is to adopt the revised 24-25 annual budget following the February budget review process. So the operational income is increased by 4.192 million. Operational expenditure is increasing by 10.36 million. So that is a net change of 6.17 million. So that moves the adopted surplus of 449,000 to a proposed deficit of 5.7 million. The capital income is increasing by 4.48 million, and the capital works program is decreased by 53.8 million to a total of 167 million. So this does include a $55 million reduction to the Crestbrook Dam Safety Improvement Project. So the recommendation for this report is to adopt the 24-25 annual budget.
Thank you, Emily, and thank you very much again for the work you've done. Councillors, is there any questions in regard to this? If not, the recommendation is before us. If I could just, Councillor Tim, question? Are you happy to move? Can I just make one final comment, and it's important in the context of what Emily has just mentioned, and it's important in the context of last night's federal budget with a forecast 10-year deficit in front of the federal government. I mentioned about the financial assistance grants. One thing I would like the community to know, and councillors are fully aware of this, is the confidence that we should have in our teams and in our organisation to work through potentially a deficit, and we're trying to claw that back naturally this financial year. But to put that into context, one of our financial measures is our cash holdings, untied cash holdings. At the start of this financial year, the budget forecast was for $214 million in cash holdings at the end of this financial year, 6.77 months, so it needs to be greater than 2 months. At BR2, that's now, we are approving or adopting a cash holding of $246 million, which is 7.74 months. Now that holds us in good stead if there are some shocks, if there's things that happen, and we know that that may well arise. So I just wanted to assure the organisation is doing a terrific job managing that, and the community should have confidence in doing it. We've gone from an original debt forecast of $214 million to what's forecast to be $183 million. And I said before, cash holdings are forecast to $246 million. So we are in a good position. That doesn't mean that we don't need support from other levels of government to complete large projects, because they will be pushed into the next financial year. So that's some closing remarks for confidence for the community, but also thank you to the organisation and Anne-Marie and your team. Councillor Tim, you're happy to move? Second by Councillor Melissa. Those in favour? Motion's carried unanimously. Thank you, councillors. Thanks, Deanne. Appreciate it. And thank you, Anne-Marie, Emily, Andrew, Mary Lou. Thank you very much.